My name is Kevin Edwards and I'm the Global Client Strategy Director at Affiliate Window. I'm joined today by Matt Swan, who's head of our business intelligence team, and together we'll be assessing the impact of Black Friday trading in the run-up to Christmas. As the largest affiliate network in the UK, working with more than half of the top 100 IMRG brands, our data is drawn from a broad spectrum of advertisers from all sectors, and we'll be bringing you some brand new insights into this evolving retail phenomenon. As usual, there's an area on the right-hand side that allows you to leave questions and comments as we go along. This year, Affiliate Window's publishers generated in excess of £100 million in revenue for around 2,000 UK and US retailers across the 4-day Black Friday weekend, bookended by Cyber Monday. With predicted spend on Black Friday alone of £1.1 billion, Affiliate Window can claim to have tracked 1 in 25 of all sales recorded anywhere online on the 27th of November. Such a data set, we hope, means we can make general assumptions about consumer purchasing behaviour at this critical time of the year for UK retailers and affiliates. In 2014, the network doubled its Black Friday performance on the previous year as the event went mainstream and with anticipation at fever pitch. In the end, the picture was mixed. Those advertisers who had made suitable provision for the onslaught emerged victorious, but many were similarly unprepared with site downtime and stock availability issues. And it wasn't just the day itself. The sheer volume of orders resulted in logistical issues in December, delays in deliveries, and unprecedented levels of returned goods. So it was with some trepidation that retailers looked to 2015, aware that striking the right balance on Black Friday could make or break peak trading for them. Some chose not to play, others invested heavily in their logistical and systems architecture. In the event, consumers chose to shun the high street, and there were no embarrassing melees of customers fighting for widescreen TVs as so beloved by the media. Helen Dickinson of the British Retail Consortium said shopper footfall wilted once again as consumers shunned high streets and instead sought to take advantage of online Black Friday promotions and discounts, which often ranged across several days. Whilst this makes depressing reading for many with a high street presence, consumers showed no signs of tightening the purse strings. And what may transpire to be bad news for stores when the dust settles on Christmas trading will undoubtedly be a success story for e-commerce as the story of Black Friday continues its shift online. With that in mind, what did Affiliate Window's data show, and what assumptions can we make about how affiliate data from the network is shining a light on changing consumer patterns in the UK? On Black Friday 2015, Affiliate Window experienced a 46% year-on-year hike in sales revenue, as the network posted commissions in excess of £2 million in one day for the very first time. Other top-line figures included almost £45 million tracked across the 24-hour window, and during the peak hour of 9 to 10 a.m, 6,300 clicks were being recorded every minute that resulted in almost 600 sales. Average order for the day also spiked by 33% on the previous Friday to a high of £93, exceeding £100 during peak. Our first insight is that Cyber Monday appears, whether temporarily or permanently, to be on a hiatus as the largest shopping day in the UK retail calendar. If 2014 was the year when Black Friday swiped the crown from Cyber Monday, then 2015 represents the year when it was ceremoniously coronated. The figures you can see here from across the Affiliate Window network provide a stark contrast, showing how Cyber Monday's previously imperious position has been consigned to something quite ordinary. As you can see, the percentage of sales revenue across the 4-day weekend recorded in the 24 hours of Black Friday stood at 42%, while Cyber Monday accounted for 22%. In other words, Black Friday tracked almost twice as many sales on the network compared to Cyber Monday. The focus on big ticket items and an impressive hike in average order value on Black Friday among our biggest retailers to £123 helps account for the difference between sales and sales revenue. That's not to say that sales for Cyber Monday lagged, with numbers up 30% and revenue up 37% year on year, in itself representing impressive growth. But as one of the two critical pre-Christmas trading days, Cyber Monday couldn't even muster its 1/4 share of sales or revenue across the 4-day period. Many retailers appear to run consistent promotions across the entire elongated weekend, and as such, perhaps retail fatigue had kicked in by then. Considering some retailers went to market early, stretching Black Friday into a week-long event, perhaps it was unrealistic to expect Cyber Monday to post spectacular comparative performance, especially if it was considered an extension of another event rather than a distinct one in itself. And consider this, if Black Friday has made Cyber Monday distinctly ordinary, Manic Monday, the first Monday in December, for years the biggest shopping day for UK retailers, seems dead in the water, posting just 30% of the revenue recorded on November the 27th. In this graph, you can see Christmas trading plotted from November the 1st to December the 15th, bringing us right up to date with the latest performance from the network. Interestingly, the Thursday before Black Friday represents the third largest day of trading by revenue and the fourth largest by sales in this 45-day window, again underlining how advertisers are nudging offers earlier and earlier in an attempt to steal a march on competitors. Perhaps our thinking around Black Friday is skewed by attempting to cram our view into a narrow 24-hour window. What is potentially more helpful is to consider the general period as an extended trading window when consumers compare deals and offers and there is a broad attempt by retailers to part consumers with their cash. What is fascinating is how a combination of mass media coverage, consumers turning away from the high street, and advertisers going early has created an event that is distinctly British in contrast to the US Black Friday equivalent. But more about this later.
Not only did consumers shun the high street to shop online, but they also dug deeper and splashed more cash. The average basket was a full £7.50 higher at just over £93, making it one of the highest ever posted. Compare this to an average Friday on the network of £71, and the impact is compounded. Typically a big box electricals event, Black Friday for John Lewis and Currys, both of which are clients on the network, marked exceptionally busy days and undoubtedly helped drive this figure up. This picture was far from consistent across the day, peaking between 6 and 7 a.m. with strong performance in the small hours. A trend has emerged of shoppers buying their big ticket items, possibly with a sense of urgency, fearful of the threat of limited stock availability. An interesting consideration for retailers, Black Friday continues to throw up unusual purchasing patterns in contrast to Cyber Monday, which follows a more typical day's trading. What is equally interesting is how smartphones held their own, typically under-indexing both tablets and desktop sales. Handsets weren't far off the average and in fact pushed through the typical Friday AOV, peaking at an average basket of £113. For the first time, this event felt like one that smartphones played an equal role in.
So having considered how Black Friday 2015 saw handsets pulling in record baskets, the day also stood out because tablets saw their position as the major non-desktop platform supplanted. Driving almost 1 in 3 sales in the couple of hours before the working day kicked off, our cross-device data has shown that smartphones act as a powerful driver on initial intent during this time, but conversions often trail far behind. This wasn't in evidence on Black Friday, with handsets trumping tablets consistently until mid-afternoon, when the position was reversed as this data plotted by hour across the whole day shows. Overall, handsets accounted for 19% of sales, with tablets 1 percentage point behind. Digging deeper into the detail reveals some interesting indication that consumers may be becoming more and more confident in transacting on smartphones. A clear indicator to us has been the average order value, the assumption being the closer to a desktop average this gets, the more we can assume more typical purchase behavior. The graph on this screen illustrates the varying average order values for Black Friday and Cyber Monday by desktop, tablet, and smartphone. Back in February 2015, smartphone average basket was pulling in about 57% of the revenue that desktop sales were. This gap has narrowed over the year as the year has progressed, and by October was close to 70% of the value. However, Black Friday saw smartphone sales push to 83% of the desktop average, and Cyber Monday followed a similar pattern, achieving 80%. Perhaps given many retailers and affiliates used email to push the best deals available, and with mobile devices accounting for more than half of all opened emails, the urgency of availability on Black Friday encouraged consumers to embrace mobile commerce in a way they never have done before.
Traditionally viewed as a retail event, Black Friday offers advertisers in other sectors the opportunity to capitalise on the surge in online traffic. The big day is not one that should be narrowly defined by shoppers stocking up on their Christmas presents. Affiliate Window commissioned pre-Black Friday research that showed half of consumers were planning to take advantage of the deals on offer by purchasing gifts for themselves. Why then should Black Friday be just about buying for others? This manifested itself in some of the advertisers who triumphed on Black Friday, with 6 of the top 20 being drawn from the telecom sector, all going to market with strong deals and scooping up consumers who are hungry for the best offers out there, be it for friends, family members, or indeed themselves. In fact, if we extend this to look at the top 50 advertisers based on commission, those in the telecom sector drove £1 of every £4 commission tracked. While telecoms brands did play a part, it was certainly retail that dominated. Looking at the top performing sectors across Cyber Weekend, they were consistent on both Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Department stores led the way with around 20% share on both days, closely followed by clothing with 15%. Health and beauty was the third most popular sector on each day, with a greater share of activity on Black Friday.
In the space of a few years, Black Friday has rewritten the Christmas trading calendar, and the UK, with possibly the most sophisticated e-commerce infrastructure, has embraced it. The UK has also long had its own traditional online shopping peak, the first Monday in December. Having embraced Black Friday here several years ago, 2014 marked a seismic shift in shopping patterns, with Black Friday realigning that spike a few days earlier in the retail calendar. The idea of a surge on the last Friday in the month, coinciding with payday for many, seems entirely logical and one that many advertisers have been keen to tap into, so much so that it seems to become an occasion that Brits have embraced far more than our American counterparts. However, with much of the narrative originating from the US, so-called Cyber Monday, which this year fell in November, continues to drive the digital headlines. With UK consumers spending on average £800 more per capita than their US equivalents, Black Friday, however, marks a perfect opportunity to tap into the robust and mature e-commerce infrastructure that we boast here. Taking data from Adobe and IMRG, we can also draw the conclusion that UK consumers spent 3 times as much online per head as their American counterparts on Black Friday. In 2015, a very clear pattern emerged that while Cyber Monday still reigns in the US, for a UK audience, Black Friday has firmly replaced it as the undisputed king of retail online. So far from being a poor imitation of an American institution, retailers, publishers, and consumers have come together to create the perfect storm in the world's most mature online retail environment. Don't believe the US headlines that reference the events as viewed through a completely different cultural context. Black Friday has created a retail phenomenon that has redrawn the retail boundaries in the UK, and our sophisticated market has responded.
One of the most striking patterns to emerge in 2014 was the difference in spikes across the day. This was again reflected this year. Black Friday has clearly primed customers to react as soon as the starting gun is fired. This has manifested itself in a significant midnight spike, followed by a pre-work rush. That midnight Black Friday sales weren't matched by Cyber Monday until lunchtime, sends out a powerful statement on shifting consumer behaviour and the importance of being ready. By contrast, Cyber Monday emulates a typical trading day. Unlike last year, which saw a marked period at the tail end of the day where Cyber Monday was substantially bigger, there are only 2 minor peaks when Black Friday was challenged, between 8 and 10 p.m. During this time, there was only 26 sales difference between Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Looking at the traffic over the 2 days, we see an almost identical pattern. Black Friday is again clearly a daytime event, with Cyber Monday peaking in the evening. From these charts, we can also see 2 key trends relating to conversion rates. Firstly, around 4 p.m, we saw traffic outstrip sales, which is indicative of more casual browsing or research traffic. Secondly, while traffic trails off considerably as we enter the late evening period, we see sales remain fairly steady. Strong conversion rates are evident, which could be as a result of the casual browsing that we saw earlier in the day actually converting later on in the evening.
If the UK staked its claim to being the preeminent online market globally on Black Friday, Then our European neighbours made a concerted effort to close the gap in 2015. As part of the Zanox Group, the largest European performance marketing network, we track sales across all major countries throughout the continent. Last year, Black Friday fell on the 28th of November, and for many countries, it was the first time that it felt the event had moved mainstream. This was certainly borne out in the Zanox Group's data for 2014 that showed a notable spike when data from more than 40 global markets was considered, with Black Friday exceeding Cyber Monday for the first time. This trend, however, wasn't universal. In this chart, you can see which countries overperformed on Black Friday compared to a normal day's trading during the Christmas peak. While we cannot make direct comparisons from market to market, as there are cultural, seasonal, and specific reasons that presenting top-line data ignores, there's no doubt this chart helps to indicate the level of maturity and awareness of Black Friday in the respective markets. So what did 2015 reveal? Well, the contrast is quite marked, with a more than 50% increase in revenue tracked across the group. In fact, our publishers from the US to Australia, from Brazil to China, were responsible for driving the first ever €100 million day for the Zanox Group, a likely sign that Black Friday is set to dominate the headlines for years to come. Significantly, Brazil markets of Germany and France. With a 150% surge in spending, the performance outperformed that of the UK in 2014, when a doubling in revenue on affiliate window was greeted with real astonishment. Interestingly, the northwestern European countries of the Nordics follow a broadly similar pattern to the UK and Ireland, and posted the actual biggest percentage ramp in sales, the combined region seeing a 221% increase in sales revenue on Black Friday alone. Black Friday remains patchily implemented across Europe. In Germany, it eclipsed Cyber Monday for the first time, but only marginally. France and the Netherlands remain resistant to its charms, despite both posting excellent revenue figures. Food for thought for retailers then. If they thought trying to implement a plan of action in a single country was difficult, then the global picture presents a bewildering array of Black Friday adoption.
While the Zanox Group is predominantly focused on North America and Europe, it is evident that the €100 million tracked on Black Friday wasn't constrained by national border. Advertisers across the network are also benefiting from activity around the world. Transactions were tracked across 156 different countries. Outside of the traditional markets we operate within, East Asia drove a significant volume of sales, with China leading the way. Having seen UK advertisers benefiting from China's Singles Day on the 11th of November, there was also a significant amount of activity across Cyber Weekend. And average spend varied significantly, with the Nordics putting in a strong showing. Norway, Denmark and Sweden all featuring in the top 10 countries by average basket spend. Japan topped the list outside of the Nordics, while there were notable mentions for South Korea and Brazil. This list is based on those countries that saw over 100 sales generated on Black Friday. With revenue driven by UK retailers outside of these borders set to more than double before 2020, we anticipate the overseas opportunity of events such as Black Friday featuring more and more in advertisers' long-term plans.
Switching attention back to the UK, our data reveals the locations which saw the biggest spenders as well as the lowest average order values for the UK. Leamington Spa saw the highest rate of spending, with average order values standing at almost £145, and at the other end of the spectrum, residents of Hayes spent just under £34 on average. The criteria for inclusion being those regions that had at least 200 transactions. Location data also helps us to understand which advertisers appeal geographically to different consumers, data that we'd encourage our clients to pass back to us in every sale that we track.
Black Friday saw smartphone activity come to the fore. Typically, we have seen smartphone traffic outstrip that of tablet devices, but a disconnect in conversion rates has seen them trail somewhat in terms of transactions. Black Friday saw smartphone conversion rates increase dramatically, outstripping that of tablet devices throughout the day. As the chart on this slide indicates, smartphone conversion rates peaked at just over 10%, while on average across the day this was 7%. Typically across the network, we see smartphones convert at around 3.5%. On Black Friday, consumers weren't just using their smartphones as a research device. They were the mobile device of choice to take advantage of the time-sensitive offers.
There is no doubt that Black Friday arrived like a juggernaut and smashed all records. While UK consumers may be increasingly abandoning the high street, leading to a drop in in-store sales and footfall, they flocked online to grab the best deals. What was once Manic Monday became supplanted by Cyber Monday, which in turn was toppled by Black Friday. That the ever-changing online retail landscape can shift so sizably in such a short space of time presents both an enormous challenge and opportunity for advertisers. So what next for 2016? It seems inevitable that more and more advertisers will shift their focus increasingly to online and potentially try to optimize the mobile opportunity that remains one of the biggest challenges for retailers. Whilst Black Friday currently wears the retail crown, who would bet against UK consumers wholeheartedly embracing another shopping phenomenon in years to come? If you'd like to read more about our insights, including our top 10 trends on Black Friday, then please subscribe to our monthly strategy newsletter. You can find details for it on the affiliate window hub at awinstrategy.com. You can also access all of our research, webinars, white papers, and editorial pieces on the same site, the industry's preeminent source of affiliate marketing insight. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed the series of affiliate window webinars in 2015 that you can find on the network's YouTube page. We hope to bring you more market leading insights next year, but wish you a very happy Christmas and prosperous New Year.